Yesterday, GES put out a communique in response to the final year SHS students who were supposed to report to school. We received a series of messages and videos regarding that issue, so we're deciding to dedicate part of the segment today to it. We got some videos from Kumasi that we will watch, and then we'll have a conversation about the problem.
I'm in the person of Reina Isahak, a final year student in TI and Media Senior High. I came to school this morning and with the information that Form 3 students are to go back home because there is not enough space in the school for us to use. And now, my mom was not having money to even buy me provisions to come. But because it's compulsory for me to come to school, I'm ready to write my WASI, and now I'm in school and they are telling me to go back home. It's now late. I can't go back home right now. And I don't know what to do. I'm very stranded. My parents who are in their house, they are worried. So right now, I don't know what to do again. So next time, we are pleading that the authorities should make awareness earlier on before it's too late.
This morning, I reported very early because I'm a prefect, so I was supposed to come very early to school. And when I came, it wasn't instantly that I got the message. About 2 hours later, that the message came that the Form 3s are supposed to go home. And frankly speaking, I've already brought all my things ready for school. So when the information came, it was kind of difficult because my dad brought me and he left. And I can't call him to come back to pick me up for the house because I don't have a phone in school. And I can't go to anyone for that information. So since we've been home for 3 weeks and an extra month as being home is very difficult because we are coming to write our final exams and we've not covered most of our topics. So us going home is quite difficult for us because what are we going to learn? And it's not everybody that will get the resources to go for the classes and all those tuition that they give outside school. So it's going to be very difficult. And for my parents, they are okay with me coming home because they think it will help them with their work. I'll help at home, the choices and all those stuff. But with me, I'm not okay because I know where I am right now with my studies and all those stuff. We are not anywhere. We have a lot to cover. So going home for an extra month is quite difficult. And I can't say for my other colleagues, but for me, I'm not okay. So the government should do something about it. And next time, the information should come early before some of us report. Because right now, I have people from Accra, Bolga, they are coming. 2 just arrived from Accra. They came and they have to go back. Where are they going? So even if they pick the bus around 5, what time are they going to be at home? It will be late. So the government should do something about the provision of the information. It should come early so that it will help us.
I'm in Tokyo, and I attend TI Media Senior High School. I came to school this morning and I heard that they've postponed the resuming this for Form 3s to next month. And I'm so much disappointed because I made preparation to come to school. And here is the case, I have to go back home. So I'm pleading with the school authorities to talk with the GES so that they can do something about that part. Because we have...
So those were some students in Kumasi, final year SHS students who have traveled from all corners of the country to report to school, only to find out that GES had changed the date. We're going to go to the Volta region to hear what some parents there also had to say about this issue.
But because bringing my younger sister to school, telling me to send him back home, or send her back home, is very bad. I just feel so disappointed, and it's a feeling that you can't express. It's like you know that the country is not moving anywhere. Like everything, because every nation's education system is strong, and here in Ghana today you see these people going to school. Even if you send your word to school, they'll ask you to bring it back. It's a shame. You understand? Like it's a shame. It's a shame. From me to the president, we let the president based on his promises on our education system, and we just need our younger kids, our younger brothers to go back to school because their future is at stake. As it stands right now, they are growing. They are not growing younger. They are growing. And how long are they going to be in the house? like for example, today after Easter, there are some teachers that are still asking whether they will be going to school today. It's very bad. So they know what to do. They are very aware. They know what to do, but they are just joking it because they don't want the kids to be like them. Well, they should remember that one day they will also live where they are.
Kono, menye driver, taxi driver, le hu. Nyade femela, nye machan gbelebe free education la, menu free education la. Elonu gere o deme. Nye driver menyela, me po vide le division sukunvio ou le gbogbo ou le jojo ou le gbogbo ou le jojo nche mele dowa ma brebe driver gede ola yo che ogbele pepepe beleke nche mele brofivie ta enye nana akufo adola free SS ke komela vide le mene enye le filo ta ya nyenya so egala si ma bro.
That has affected me in so many ways. Maybe my child is, should I assume that my child is from northern region? And that moment, and I've prepared everything for him or her to come to school, maybe in northern region. All the expenses, who is going to take care of it? No one, not even the government. I'm going to cater for all those things. Maybe it can affect the child mentally or physically, and maybe the child will not even be willing to go to school again.
So those were some parents in the Volta region sharing their frustrations, although one had no problems with it. And we're discussing this issue today because education is at the core of our development. Human capital is the one thing that we need to get right as a nation. If our young people, our youth are supposed to report to school at a specific day, their parents have gone through a lot to get them to school, only for the GES to say we've changed that date. You can only imagine the psychological impact it will have on the students and their parents. We're not even looking at the economic factors involved with them staying home when they're supposed to be in school. So we're going to treat this topic the way it deserves to be treated, from a human capital angle and the impact this will have on the students. And throughout our conversation, if you have any questions or contributions, please use the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and our WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. I have Mr. Peter Partey, who's going to join me via Zoom. He's the executive director of the Institute for Educational Studies. Good morning, Mr. Partey.
Good morning, Jiva.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being with us. How did you feel when you saw the notice from GES? Let's start with that.
Disappointed. I was shocked. I was surprised. I couldn't believe my ears that Ghana Education Service would do something like that. I was shocked.
And what impact does this have on the education of these students?
You see, for some time now, if you've been following how these issues are thrown to the public in terms of the academic calendar, you would have raised some concerns. Some of us, we have had cause to raise concerns about how these calendars are put out, because we know, if going to school and being in the system, working in the system for some time now, we know that before students, the academic year begins, the calendar is laid out. So we know when students are going to school, we know when students will break, we know when they will return to school, we know when exams is going to start. It is done. Of course, sometimes there are instances whereby you have unforeseen circumstances that will cause a break in the school, like we had last year with Corona, and those are there. But we are almost 80, 90, 99% certain that this is the academic calendar. So parents plan based on that academic calendar, students plan based on that academic calendar, teachers plan based on that academic calendar, so that they will know that there's a certain flow that they are supposed to have when it comes to their activities. So unfortunately, what has happened now is going to put a lot of plans into disarray, and we would, the Ghana Education Service, apart from maybe apologizing, of which they have done, they would have to take other measures to compensate certain groups of people, parents, maybe students, for the harm that they have caused them.
And what exactly is that harm from where you sit?
So from the parents' perspective, you plan that your student is supposed to go to school on a specific day. Sometimes you don't even have the resources, so you might have to go and then borrow. You buy provisions, you get things ready for the student, and then you send the student to go to school, only for you to hear that the student will have to come back the next day. It puts your budget in jeopardy, because you have used the money to buy certain things and you are hoping that this child is going, so that part is catered for, and then he's now coming back, that money that you have used for all those things have just gone down the drain. For the students, their mind is made up that, look, I'm going to school to go and learn. For the next 2 months I'll be on campus, so they are psychologically ready for the academic environment. Then they get to school, and then you are told to go back. You are not even looking at the distance that some of them took. Some would have to travel from different parts of the country to their schools. And with our boarding system, you can have a child in Accra who is attending school in the northern region. You can have a child in Kumasi who is attending school in the central region. You can have a child in Takoradi who is attending school in the Volta region. And these children have been crisscrossing the country during this period that they were supposed to report. Then they get to school and they are supposed to go back home. So that's psychological impact. On the teachers, you have your plan. The students are supposed to report at this particular time. Maybe you have other things that you are supposed to do. So you put all those things aside. You divide your lesson, you devise your lesson notes and all those things, and make sure that you are now going to attend to these students. Then you are told that, look, they are not coming. You have another 1 month. Your plan has been put in disarray. So the impact is enormous. The social impact, the financial, the emotional, the psychological impact is enormous. And we think that they shouldn't just take just a letter for a release from the ministry, the Ghana Education Service to do this. I think they should go beyond that.
Okay, now let's look at the psychological impact, because especially with the final year students, these are students who, were gearing up to go to school. We heard the school prefect of one of the schools share how she was anticipating being in school, planned her whole month, planned her day, and now to go back home. What kind of toll may that have on a student? And if we are not careful, how will that manifest in their ability to even perform well when they go back to school?
I think it's in psychologically this is going to dampen their spirits, because the mind is prepared for an academic work. Now they are supposed to go back to the house, and some of them, it's only when they are on campus that they get a chance to study. We know that there are people, when they are in the house, their parents are able to afford extra classes for them. So those groups are there. But most of these students, they get to do a lot of academic work only when they are on campuses, and they seem prepared to start the academic year because they are in their final year, they are preparing for their final exams. So they need some kind of concentration to be able to do that. Now, if you are asking them to go back to the house at this time, then it's like you are putting off that spirit or that desire that they had psychologically psyched themselves to study whilst they were going to campus, and it will take a lot of time for it to come back. Apart from that, putting them in the house, some of them might be rusty. They might not be able to revise the things that they are supposed to revise, because, as I indicated earlier, most of them it's only when they are on campus and they see their friends studying, that kind of group peer pressure, positive peer pressure, that they will also want to join and then study. But when you ask them to go to the house for another 1 month, it's going to be difficult for them. Some of them will end up moving to other social places like the mall, taking pictures, exposing themselves to danger and all those things. And all these have an impact on them psychologically. And when they get back to campus, it will take them 2, 3, 4 weeks, especially in our system where we don't have proper counseling and support system to help some of these students who need this kind of help. It's going to be a very difficult period for them before they will be able to psych themselves up and move into the academic mood.
Okay, so this is an emotional intelligence lesson for all of us. Moving forward, what recommendations would you make to GES as far as handling matters like this with a bit of empathy?
I think the people at the Ghana Education Service, they know what they are doing. It's headed by a professor. I'm nowhere near Professor Opoku Ajo. Professor Opoku Amankwa. I think that they should. I'm choosing my words carefully. They should be a little bit proactive. See, they knew this thing will happen. If we are going by the explanation by charts, for example, which some of us we don't want to believe, they knew that there's likely to be congestion in the schools. They were planning the timetables. When they planned the school calendar, they knew that if students report at this time, with the first year still being on campus, there will be congestion. They knew it. Now, Charles says that they notified them long ago. So before the students even vacated, they knew that this challenge will happen if students are asked to come back. So what really happened? That even they could have released a statement on Friday. They could have released a statement on Thursday. Why wait till even the Monday? They could have even released a statement, the Easter Monday. Why wait till when students most of them have left and they are on their way to the various schools that you release this statement? You cannot do this in any jurisdiction and go scot-free. You can't. And that's why I'm struggling to choose my words. I think that there's something really wrong. There's something going on that we are not being told. Some of us, we have heard from the grapevine that there are financial challenges. They should be upfront with us.
We can't confirm that.
Yes. They should be upfront with us. You see, when we talk about education, I've always said that the stakeholders in education is everybody in the country, because you might have your niece there, your nephew there, you might have your son there, your daughter there, your grandson. So everybody is interested in the education system in the country. When we have challenges, you have to come and open up to the people, address the people, talk to them, let them know that this is the challenge that we are having, so that we will all collectively help solve that particular challenge. But
thank you.
This problem is something that should have been avoided, and we think that going forward, they shouldn't let it get to this level again.
Thank you very much. Mr. Peter Partey is the director of IES. Thank you very much for being with us. And as we discussed, the reason why we're talking about this in the first place is because of the manner in which GES released that information on the day students have reported to school. These are students that we're expecting to be our innovators, to be our inventors, to really help develop this nation. If we're going to treat them the way that GES handled it, it doesn't help. And as we spoke about, there's an economic side to this issue, there's a social side to this issue, and there's also a psychological aspect to it. Students already preparing themselves to really be in school, to study hard, to get ahead, and to be told that you have to go back home and come back in a month. That is pretty traumatic. And we hope that the GES is listening to us this morning. They're taking notes. They are using this as a lesson on emotional intelligence so that in future, they don't handle this matter the way that they did yesterday. Of course, they've come out to apologize for it. As a nation, we will accept it. Obviously, a lot of us were not angry enough in the first place, but our students deserve better. Throughout this Hello Mr. President segment, if you have any questions or contributions to the topics that we're discussing, please use the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. I have some messages here, so I'll read them briefly, and then we will continue with the other videos that we received. The message here is coming from Prince Inla. Prince says, "This is no fault of the school which my sister attends. That's Laboni Senior High School. Can you believe just last night I was having a chit chat with her, and we realized that she only has less than 3 months of class contact hours." So 3 months of class contact hours. She's part of the Gold Track group and started school, and then COVID struck. Now she has been promoted to Form 2. How can this be? So he's worried about the current situation with with his sister at the Bonnie Senior High School. She's only had 3 months of class contact hours, and she's already been promoted from Form 2 to Form 3. So what really is the quality of education that this student is getting? And of course, we are not targeting this particular school, but it's about time that as a nation, we paid critical attention to what's happening in our schools, how our students, how our children are being trained, because they're going to be our future leaders. If we are not giving them all the equipment they need, if we're not giving them the resources they need, if we are not attaching enough emotional intelligence with the way we handle them, we can't blame them when they turn into something else in the future. We have another issue that we're going to talk about. It has to do with textbooks. So we take a look at the next video.
From Nkrofo, the birthplace and original burial place of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of Nkrofo, I wish to passionately appeal to your good office to liaise with the relevant institutions for immediate total withdrawal of this book titled The Golden History of Ghana. Mr. President, these books paint a picture that Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was a dictator. The cause for worry for the people of Nkrofo and by extension in Zima is this. Nkrumah happens to be one person who has been awarded the global title of African's Man of the Millennium. Are we trying to paint that picture that the global institution that gave him that acknowledgement did not do any research regarding the life and personality of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? Or are we saying that they glossed over his dictatorship and went ahead to give him this title? Mr. President, even as school resumes tomorrow, it is our passionate appeal that this book will be withdrawn from the system so that our children do not have access to them, read them, and get confused in trying to imbibe any historical knowledge. Mr. President, I am very optimistic that your good office will do the needful by calling on those that matter to withdraw the books from the system. Thank you.
So we just finished our Heritage Month last month, where a lot of us celebrated the works of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And this year, we've already had to deal with textbooks in our schools that were not factual, that targeted a specific ethnic group. And for this matter to come up again with a man that everyone has credited for the freedom that we all enjoy in this country is not the best timing, but we have to talk about this issue. And I have the former assemblyman for Nkrofo in the Elembele district with us. That's Lord S.K. Kujo. Good morning, Mr. Kujo.
Good morning, Jifa.
How are you?
Jifa, I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for being with us.
I'm happy for the opportunity.
Please tell us a bit about this issue with the textbooks.
Yes, Jifa, thank you. The issue about the textbook that has been authored and published called The Golden History of Ghana, on page 34, it tries to paint, simply put, Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah as a dictator, and also goes ahead to accuse him of not respecting the chieftaincy institutions during his leadership as the president of the nation Ghana. And that is where the people of Nkrofo and Zima as a whole find it very defaming and not right.
Yes, and our viewers are looking at a visual there. I'm going to read something on page 35 of this book. limitations or problems of CPP. The CPP wasted the resources of Ghana to support some African countries to get independence. For example, it is said that the CPP government gave 10 million euros to Guinea to fight for independence from France. And the focus on this is the word wasted. How does that, what do you make of that?
Yes, that is why in our press conference held on 5th, that is Monday, Easter Monday, we have a subheading that the author of the book has a bag of inconsistency, inaccuracy, and a lot of falsehood. Because if all those that Nkrumah did, she categorically cited that by loaning or by giving some funds to Guinea, for example, was something wrong, that Nkrumah should be penalized or should be held kind of in that. Then we are questioning that even after the demise of Nkrumah for so long, why is it that every now and then the leadership of Africa go to meet, and what they meet on is to try and unite the whole of Africa under the umbrella of an AU? Is it not the same thing Nkrumah saw years ahead, for which he was trying to strategically, financially, and bilaterally give assistance to other countries to wrench themselves from the colonial grasp? So if this are the grounds for somebody to be called a dictator and somebody does not respect institutions, then it's unfortunate.
How dangerous is this for a book like this to be written in Ghana when we have Nkrumah write a book like Africa Must Unite? He wrote Neocolonialism. He wrote Conscientism. He's actually written so many books to empower not only Ghanaians and Africans, but Black people globally. And for a Ghanaian to put out such a book to students in this country about Nkrumah's legacy.
Yiva, I've been watching your program this morning, even from one of the central themes that has actually become the discussion of the TV station is the fact that dolphins have been washed ashore and other fishes, and people are consuming it, and the Ministry of Fisheries is becoming alarmed. The question is, why are they worried? Why is the ministry worried? It is because we feel that there should be some pollutant material in the fishes that could be harmful to our health, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, if somebody writes a book, which is a bag of falsified issues or stories, and we allow our society to consume such a book, this falsehood will become something which will be imbibed by the students. And I'm surprised the more when NACA, at a point in time, issued a disclaimer that they did not approve of the book. So if NACA didn't approve of the book, what is it that they have done to actually show that they are the authority, they are the authorizing institution that regulates the publishing and sale of such test materials in our schools? Nothing of that sort has happened. And I keep telling us that this is not an Nkrumah or Nkrofo affair. It is a fight which should be the interest of Ghanaians and even Africa. Because, Difa, you will recall that even after the death of Nkrumah a long time ago, he has been accorded that prestigious title as African Man of the Millennium. So that is a shining, glorified star out there for Africa. So for us to hide in Ghana here, in somebody's cubicle, and say he has done the research and now try to call Nkrumah a dictator, is a disgrace to we, not as Nkrumahs, but as Ghanaians as a whole, and for that matter, Africa. And that is why we must not sit down at the year, the author of the book, to go scot-free. And that is why NACA, that is why GES and the Ministry of Education should be up and doing and make sure that the needful is done.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kujo, for being with us. Lastly, for all the people who are watching, because I know that this book is still out there and is still in use, your last call to get this book out of our classrooms?
So on Monday that we held the press conference, we've given Edia 2 weeks, counting from yesterday being Tuesday. We are giving her 2 weeks. If the 2 weeks elapses and the demand that he should get the books withdrawn from the system, he should apologize openly first to the family of Nkrumah and the people of Nzema, the people of Ghana and Africa as a whole. If these things are not done by 2 weeks, we will write and petition the offices that matter, including NACA, DES, Ministry of Education, and ultimately the office of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. And then we have mapped out activities that will follow if even after that we haven't had the positive response that we want.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kojo, for being with us. And a lot of you have sent in messages relating to this topic. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I've heard that there are students out there who are still using this book. They're still reading it. The books they should be reading are Africa Must Unite by Kwame Nkrumah, Decolonizing the Mind by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. There are so many African authors out there who have contributed immensely to our development. Those are the books they should be reading, not books like this that would actually take away from the legacies that these strong men and women have contributed to our development. And we hope that GES is listening, all the stakeholders are listening, and this book will be out of our classrooms in no time.